You know that amazing idea you have? The one that's just kinda sitting there, waiting for the perfect moment to get started? Well, what if the secret isn't some giant perfect plan? What if it's actually something much, much simpler? Today, we're gonna look at a tool that helps you turn those ideas into real action without getting stuck in that planning quicksand.
So let's just ask it straight up. Why do so many great ideas get stuck? You've been there, right? You get super excited about something new, and then poof, a few weeks later, it's just collecting dust. You are definitely not alone in this.
For a lot of us, the culprit is this belief that we need a flawless 100-page business plan before we can even start. With all the charts and projections perfectly mapped out. We think we have to have every answer before we can take even a single step. And that right there is the perfect plan trap. It's that little voice in your head that says, okay, I'll start just as soon as I understand the entire market, and once I know exactly how it's going to make money, and once I feel totally confident about every last detail. But let's be honest, does that moment ever really show up? No, it doesn't. And that waiting game, it doesn't lead to a better plan. It just leads to overthinking. We get stuck in what they call analysis paralysis. It's this vicious cycle that goes from thinking to, well, doing nothing at all. So let's talk about the problem with the perfect plan. Now, it feels a little backwards, right? We plan to reduce risk, but what we're about to see is how trying to plan perfectly can actually create a whole new kind of risk.
Okay, so you've really got two different ways of looking at this. Over-planning, that's the one that grinds everything to a halt. It gives you this false sense of security because you've got a beautiful plan, but it's all based on guesses. Then there's lean thinking. The whole idea here is to get moving. It's about finding your hidden assumptions, the things you think are true, and it makes failure way less scary because you're just taking small, manageable steps.
And that brings us to the solution we're talking about today. It's called the lean canvas, and it's all about one big shift, moving away from trying to predict the future, and instead just trying to learn as fast as you can. So what the heck is a lean canvas? Simple. It is a one-page planning tool. That's it. Its only job is to help you get your thoughts about an idea down on paper, fast, so you can skip that 50-page document and just get right to the good stuff. And the mindset shift is huge. A traditional plan kind of pretends the world is predictable. A lean canvas starts by admitting, hey, we don't know what's going to happen. So it's not aiming for certainty because that's just an illusion. It's aiming for clarity, and clarity is something you can actually use. I love this quote because it nails the whole philosophy. You are never ever going to have all the information you want. So the goal isn't to create a perfect plan. It's just to think as clearly as you can with the messy, limited info you have right now. Okay, so how do we actually get that clarity? You might be thinking this is going to be complicated, but it's really not. It all comes down to answering four really simple questions.
But wait, before we even get to the questions, you have to burn this into your brain. This is not a commitment. Filling this thing out is not signing a contract. The stakes here are super, super low.
Exactly. Just think of it like this. It is just a thinking exercise. Its only purpose is to help you get less confused. That's it. It's about helping you see your own idea a little bit better. All right, here they are, the four questions. Let's do a super quick example. Say your idea is a meal planning app. Question 1, what's the problem? Busy parents struggle to cook healthy meals. Okay. 2, who has this problem? Working parents with young kids. 3, how do they solve it now? Takeout, frozen pizza, stressful recipe sites. And 4, the big one. What's the key assumption? That these parents would actually pay for an app that saves them time. See? In like 30 seconds, you already have so much more clarity. So once you've answered those questions, you've got your clarity. Now, what do you do with it? Let's talk about turning that clarity into your very first, tiny, totally manageable step forward. The key phrase here is small enough. What does that mean? It means you need to come up with a test for your idea that costs almost no time, almost no money, and, importantly, almost no emotional risk. Here's a good rule of thumb. If the thought of your first test failing makes you feel sick, it's too big. So here it is, your first mini action. Your homework, if you will. Don't put this off. Just grab a piece of paper or open a doc and create a one-page draft. Just answer those 4 questions we talked about. And to make it even easier, here are the rules. Focus on just one problem. for one type of customer. Pick one main assumption to test. And this is the hardest part. Do not try to make it perfect. The second it's clear enough that you know what small action to take next, you stop. You're done. Now, we do need to be realistic about what this tool is. A lean canvas is fantastic for making your thinking clear and for showing you what your riskiest guesses are. But it cannot predict the future. It doesn't guarantee success. And most importantly, it is not a replacement for actually getting out there and testing your idea with real live humans. And that brings us to this really critical point. Getting that clarity in your head is what makes it possible to take action. It helps action happen. It supports it. But it never, ever replaces it. The real answers are always out there, in the real world. So as you get started with this, I want you to remember one simple thing. The simple act of feeling less confused about your idea, that is progress. Seriously, that's your first win. So I'll leave you with this question. Forget the big, grand vision for just a minute. Just ask yourself, what is the absolute tiniest version of my idea that I could test, maybe even tomorrow, to learn something real?